Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Langer at the Mic Montreal Canadiens post-game show after Game 6 at the Bell Center. And Woo! Let's go, baby! There'll be a Game 7! Let's go! Woo! Let's go! Woo! Jesperi KOTKANIEMI, man. Jesperi KOTKANIEMI. That's it. That's it. That's it. We're done. Jesperi KOTKANIEMI. That's it. No, seriously. The Montreal, okay, this game, first of all, fans at the Bell Center. So much to get to. I'm going to try to cover it all here in this post game. I'm schwitzing like crazy. I'll get to your comments in a little bit. I just got to try to cover everything as much as I can. But let's start first with fans in the stands. 2,500 fans. So amazing to see at the Bell Center. So amazing to see in the Sportsnet pregame show, the montage of all the fans. It like just making the fans the focal part of the montage pregame. Then, the accueillons nos Canadiens and all that. And just, it's honestly just, look, it's just amazing to have fans at a hockey game in Canada for the first time since March 2020. And real quick, the Habs, like it helped the Habs. It helped the Habs because the Habs got like 5-6 shots on goal in the first 4 minutes of the hockey game. And Jack Campbell, who I've been very critical of in this series, which I might continue to be critical of tonight, may or may not, we'll see, I'll get to that. But he stood on his head and he kept the Leafs in the game and allowed them to settle down and play a perfect road hockey game. First period. And the Habs, like they should have been up 1-0 at least, maybe even 2-0 if it wasn't for Jack Campbell in that first period. Then in the second period, the Habs kept matching the Leafs. But then in the third period, the Habs scored not one, but 2 power play goals after not scoring in the entire series in 15 or 16 chances. It was, I said 16 the other night by accident. I think it's now it's probably now 16, whatever it is. The Habs haven't scored all series until finally it was Tyler Toffoli on Mitch Marner, or it was Corey Perry off a mad scramble in front of the net. The Habs finally did the right thing of sending bodies in front of Jack Campbell and burying rebounds. And it looked maybe the Leafs challenged it for goalie interference at first, but to me, Tyler Toffoli was playing the puck in the crease. Okay, might have hit Wayne Simmons or checked Wayne Simmons in the crease, but puck finds its way out to Corey Perry, who just ever so casually and calmly puts it in the empty net to put the Habs up 1-0. And then later, because the Leafs challenged that and take a penalty for challenging it, Mitch Marner, who I'll just, I'm not going to say anything bad about Mitch Marner, but he just flips it out of play, delay game, Habs 5-on-3. And now, here's the frustrating part. When the Habs had a 5-on-3, their 5 guys were set up at the corner, one guy at the corner of the blue line, Weber at the corner of the blue line. Excuse me. Petrie at the other corner of the blue line. Suzuki it's going to happen a lot here. Suzuki in one corner. Toffoli in the other corner. And the middle guy in the middle of the slot, just all spread out. When you have a 5-on-3, collapse the box. But finally, they made the adjustment. Petrie crept in. Suzuki made a great pass to Toffoli, who one timed at home past Jack Campbell, 2-0 Habs. But then here is where the fact, and I'll get to your comments in a sec. I see them all. I'll get to them. Let's just, try to cover as much as I can here in terms of the game. But you want to look at Jeff Petrie, Shea Weber, Ben Sherratt, Brett Kulak, Joel Edmondson, Eric Gustafsson's minutes in the third period after regulation. You had Shea Weber, you had Ben Sherratt, you had Jeff Petrie, all over 27 minutes. Joel Edmondson at 22, while Eric Gustafsson and Brett Kulak were at 6 minutes, and it was the Leafs who had Jake Muzzin injured. And Morgan Riley was the only Leaf that had over 27 minutes of ice time with Jake Muzzin injured. But the Habs had Sherratt, Weber, and Petrie all over 27 minutes, and it cost them because Edmondson was awful in the third period, just careless, soft turnovers, one which almost led to a Matthews goal. But the first one was I think it was Sherratt or Edmondson, if I double check my notes here. Also, Josh Anderson was way too high up the boards, not low enough to give a support option to Edmondson. Turnover, pass from Kerfoot to Spezza, scores, shows off Jeff Petry's skate, but that started in the corner. Then, next goal, later in the period, you had Josh Anderson soft on the forecheck, Leafs coming on the rush, but Ben Sherratt recovers it, has a chance to clear it, but weak backhand to nothing. Puck ends up to TJ Brody. Shot off of Jeff Petry's skate by Carey Price, tied 2-2. Leafs come back for the second game in a row. They fall behind by more than 2 goals, by more than 1 goal. They come back. Then in overtime, the Canadiens in overtime were back in their terrible penalty kill formation because their D-men, like I said, were just exhausted. Jeff Petry on the night finished with, let's see, pull it up over here. Jeff Petry, 34 minutes. Shea Weber, 37 minutes. Ben Sherratt, 35 minutes. So they were exhausted. And the Leafs, they just dominated the overtime period. They outshot the Habs in overtime 13-2. But Jesperi Kotkaniemi, with the Habs' second shot in overtime, wins it for the Montreal Canadiens in Game 6 in front of their fans, forces a Game 7 in Toronto on Monday night. Let's get to your comments now before I continue my ranting here. Randy, waiting for the pandemonium. Habs dans rock. Yes. Noah Goaltending, Leafs had so many chances in OT, but the Habs only needed 1 to secure the win. So thank you for reminding me, Mr. Noah Goaltending. This man, first star of the game, first star of the series, honestly. Just when the Habs were all over the place, he was cool and calm, making glove saves. Look, here are my notes here. In overtime, Price, big save on Kerfoot on 2-on-1. Price, glove save on Dermott. Price, blocker save on Bogosian. Price, glove save on Brody. Price, huge save on Austin Matthews. Just cool, calm, collected, and not giving up any rebounds was Carey Price in overtime. Well, crap just hit the fan for the Habs in overtime. Sarah A, again, a very nice Leaf fan in the comment section. Once again, congrats. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And see you Monday night in Game 7. Noah Goaltending again. Oh my God, I need a shower so badly right now. The OT had me dripping set. I'm gonna need a shower too, guys, honestly. But yeah, I'm gonna need a shower for sure. There's my Papa Langer, my dad in the comment section. First star, Carey Price. Second star, KK. Third star, François Legault. Shout out to the Premier of Quebec, who has taken a lot of heat during the pandemic, who's taken a lot of heat for language stuff, but I'm not going to get into that because we are a sports YouTube channel, not a politics YouTube channel. But shout out to the Quebec government, but also Quebecers for getting their stuff together, for curbing the spread of COVID-19 and allowing for the Habs to have fans in Game 6. Even if it was 2,500, like that crazy Habs sign said at the beginning, 2,500 will sound like 25,000. So, and you know, it was a factor early on and the team settled down a little bit, but overall to have Kotkaniemi score that overtime winner on home ice in front of fans, phenomenal. Éloi Morin, the goal for president, sure. Or the goal for premier, prime minister, sure. Definitely tonight. Sheldon Weisberg to fully get bumped a bit, but by the Leafs player. You have to remind me of that situation there, Sheldon. I'll get back to that. Toffoli also finally broke his scoring slump this series. That was great to see. So did Corey Perry. Laser Brain, let's go Habs. Randy, hey, Langer, get excited. Yes, I'm very, very excited, guys. Laser Brain, Habs. Yes. Langer exactly collapsed the box, started the power play 5-on-3 looked ridiculous. And yeah, like I said, they're trying to feed Weber's one-timer with no traffic in front of the net. Like, just collapse the box, take the time and space that you have, find the play that's available to you when you're 5 and they're 3 on the ice, take what's given to you and figure it out and score. It's not complicated when you have a 5-on-3. Is Carey Price in the shot here, by the way? Because I have to make sure Carey's in the shot. Okay, good. But the Habs on the 5-on-3, they played it like a 5-on-4 or even a 6-on-5. 4 guys in each corner of the zone and 1 guy in the middle. So whatever. But they scored. So to their credit, they scored. It worked. Can't hate on them too much for that. But if they didn't score, holy crap. Price is king from Randy and Roger Delaney. The young guys scored in both overtime games. Suzuki and Kotkaniemi future is indeed great. I tweeted this at Mike Langer that the Caulfield and Suzuki connection is, if it isn't already, it might not be elite already, but it has the makings of a fine combination, of a very fine combination, and dare I say, an elite combination in the near future. Randy N. OT showed some more tiredness from the Habs, nervously watching it, almost destructive in our face. Like, I'm like, look, the Leafs are going to win. Plain and simple. Like, the Leafs are going to win this because, like I said, with what Petrie, Weber, Sherratt, Edmondson being played as much as they did. They played with 4 defensemen tonight when the Leafs had 5 defensemen because of injury. And I don't think Kulak and Gustafsson are injured. I don't think they're injured. So, look, it's one thing to shorten the bench, but it's another thing to completely, like, sit your bottom 2 defensemen like they're not even in the lineup. Like, Victor Mete and Xavier Ouellet played more in the playoffs in the bubble last year than Gustafsson and Kulak played tonight. I'll have to double check that, but I almost guarantee it. Sheldon, you and I agreed on this early in 2017 University at York. Carey Price is a god, especially playoff Carey Price. Carey Price might not be physically what he once was, but when he's fresh and healthy and confident and in that zone, like I just think where like in a playoff situation, there's so much high stress and intensity and all that, but I feel like Price just maintains like that calm, cool, just, I know exactly what you're doing, Austin Matthews. I know exactly what you're doing, Mitch Marner. I know exactly what you're doing, Zach Hyman. Maybe not William Nylander, maybe not Jeff Petrie's skate, but I know exactly what you're doing, opposing team. I know exactly where that puck is going. I know exactly where you're passing it to, and I'm going to stop it. And that's Carey Price's mindset. Perfectly reading the play, perfectly executing his butterfly slides, his cross crease movements, and always in great position, except for maybe the goal that Hyman scored in game 4 where Marner, or game 5 where Marner made a great play of pulling Price out of his net. But yeah, Price has been money in this series. Playoff Carey Price. I think I'm at Randy right now. Byron with the turnover and great pass to KK. Like, look, like I said, the Habs defense were tired, but the Leafs, they had 5 defensemen. They had to make up for Jake Muzzin being out, right? So let's see. TJ Brody, 31 minutes. Travis Dermott, 19 minutes. Their sixth defenseman had to play 19 minutes. The guy who came in for Travis Sandin. Zach Bogosian, 21 minutes. Morgan Riley, 31 minutes. Justin Hull, 25 minutes. So they were tired on that other side too. So credit Paul Byron for making the play, creating the turnover, feeding KK, and beating Jack Campbell with maybe Jack Campbell. I think he looked to be a little bit screened on the play, but I don't know. I feel like that's one that in that moment, as if you're going to be a number 1 star goaltender in this league, you have to make that save if you're Jack Campbell. Noah Sigalander, well said. Randy, what do you think of the challenge on Perry's goal? Ridiculous, but Habs scored on the power play. Thanks, Sheldon Keefe. Yes. So, like I said, it looked. Who knows what goalie interference is, right? Who knows what goalie interference is? I could tell that the one in game 2 on the Habs was clearly not goaltender interference on like with Joe Thornton barely having his stick in Carey Price's way. I don't think that was goal interference, and that was a dumb challenge. In this case, maybe they're arguing that Tyler Toffoli was in the crease and like not forced in the crease, and as a result got in Jack Campbell's way to move from his right to left. So I think that's the argument that the Leafs were going for, and that's at least what they're talking about on Sportsnet. But to me, Tyler Toffoli is playing the puck, or he's playing the man in front. He's playing the puck, and Jack Campbell, kind of like what Matt Murray did in that loss against the Senators, he just didn't really care to get up and go to his left to try to stop that puck. So that's on Jack Campbell. That's on the Leafs for not boxing him out. That's on Jack Campbell for not controlling the rebound also. So to me, it's the right call. But then again, who knows what goal interference is anyway. Habs scored. Okay. Power play goals happen. A miracle. Yes. 2 power play goals. The first 2 power play goals all series. Where's Alex Burrows' magic from early this season? I feel like the magic in the season was just teams not knowing what to expect, but now teams have adjusted. And like, that's the way the Habs are, at least on the power play, is that they roll out a certain look that teams adapt to. And then when teams adapt to that look, they just completely like, they just have to go right back to the drawing board, and it takes them forever to get there, And I also feel like part of it is personnel, because Shea Weber shouldn't be getting top power play minutes. I don't like I said, the combination of guys that are skilled but slow with guys that are not skilled and fast, like the Josh Anderson, Eric Stahl, Shea Weber, Tyler Toffoli, Suzuki. 5 guys I think I mentioned there. So you want a combination of guys that can handle the puck with skill, but can also skate and cover good space along the blue line and just be more multidimensional in terms of being a threat on the power play. So I think that's way to answer your question there, Randy. Caulfield probably has a post hit on each game he played. Yeah, Caulfield rung one off of Jack Campbell's glove slide on a dead angle, but also Cole Caulfield, there was his one-timer that led to the scramble in front that led to Corey Perry scoring the goal. So even though Caulfield hasn't scored yet in the series, Caulfield has been making things happen, plain and simple. He has the assist on the overtime when it was Suzuki. I think he got credit for the assist on the Perry goal, I believe. I'll have to double check that real quick. Caulfield did not get credit for the assist, but still, it was his one-timer that made that goal happen. And Randy, again, sauna time for all D-men except for Kulak and Gustafsson. I mean, yeah, like they're still in the warm-up. They're still skating in the warm-up with only 6 minutes of ice time on the night. And that's also, by the way, that's on the coaching staff. Like that's on Dominique Ducharme, that's on Luke Richardson, that's on Mark Bergevin. If he has an input on lineup and personnel changes, like that can't happen. You can't have your 30-plus-year-old defenseman, all 3 of them. I guess Joel Edmondson, forget how old he is, but still, they shouldn't be playing 30 minutes or 27 minutes while your bottom 2 guys are playing 6 minutes. You're supposed to have depth in this lineup, so you're supposed to be better than that. You're supposed to have a more balanced ice time across all 6 of your defensemen that are in the lineup. Yeah, Randy from Sheldon. Sheldon Weisberg, not Sheldon Keefe. Yeah, Randy was on Perry's goal that Toffoli got bumped, which Keefe thought was actually Toffoli's fault. Exactly what we just talked about. Mama Langer in the comment section. We got the win, but what a nail biter. Why can't we hold on to a lead? Talked about it before because the defensemen are just exhausted, plain and simple. They're physically and mentally exhausted. So that's basically it. Kotkaniemi has been impeccable this year from Michael Sidko. Shout out Sidko. Yeah, he's been playoff Carey Price, but also playoff Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who in a game that went almost the full length of an overtime played only 15 minutes. So there's still some lack of trust between the coaching staff and Jesperi Kotkaniemi. At least he played more than Eric Stahl, who played only 10 minutes, so that's good. But then again, you know what? Danault, I was gonna get to this. Danault, Evans, and Gallagher, phenomenal against the Austin Matthews line. Phenomenal. And Toffoli didn't even touch Campbell. The argument was that he pushed, I think it was TJ Brody or Wayne Simmons on the play into Campbell. So on the goalie interference. Randy to my to Mama Langer. Randy, if you're gonna at my mom, you're gonna have to be very careful. But yeah, Habs do it for the Habs fans. Randy, and what happened to Muzzin? Missed it. So yeah, so Muzzin, I think it looked like this. So it was a bit of a scary play because it was an unforced, or like it was a non-contact injury, as you call it in football. Just skated the wrong way, pulled something in his upper leg. I don't know. Maybe he comes back in game 7. I don't know. But yeah, just that was why he was out. Ben Ferreira, geez, what was that? Was Carey Price versus the Leafs tonight? Yeah, Carey Price just shut the door on the Leafs, basically. And yeah, Sarah confirming the injury to Muzzin in the comments. You feel bad for the Leaf fans out at the Bell Center. Well, you know what? I don't, because if you're going to spend $6,000 and drive in a car for 10 hours and invade the Bell Center, you deserve to see your team lose. So I don't feel bad for Leaf fans. I know as a Leaf fan, Sarah, you do, but I don't. So yeah, good for them. Are there lots of Leaf fans in Montreal? I don't think it's Leaf fans in Montreal. It's more Leaf fans that do the drive down the 401 to see the Leafs in Montreal all the time. So like the Leafs are probably the best traveling fans in the NHL. So that's basically it. And yeah, I think there are definitely some Leaf fans in Montreal, but probably not as many Leaf fans in Montreal compared to Habs fans that there are in Toronto, I would say, at least, I think. Because you have more people moving from Montreal to Toronto than you do Toronto to Montreal. There was some, Sarah Sheldon replied to that, but more Habs fans in Toronto than vice versa. So a couple of things I do want to mention right now. Like I said, talked at length about Gustafsson and Kulak with only 6 minutes, and keep the comments firing away as usual. We'll get to them. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's continue the celebration here in our Langer at the Mic postgame show. Like I said, tremendous work by Danault, Evans, and Gallagher were just unreal defensively in this game. And through 2 periods, Phillip Danault was much better in the faceoff circle against Austin Matthews, who I think at one point in the third or late in the second period, I saw he was only 2 for 11 in the faceoff circle against Phillip Danault. So while Matthews had Danault's number through the first 4 games of the series, just dominating Danault in the faceoff circle through 4 games, but through game 5 and game 6, Danault got much better. And so did Matthews. Matthews also had a really good performance in the faceoff circle through the third and overtime periods. Just pulling out exactly what it is so I can confirm it right now. Yeah, just pulling out Danault over here. Danault finished 15 for 31 in the faceoff circle. So started off strong, but faltered down the line. And that's also partly, I guess, why you can say that the Leafs were able to come back in this game, because more lost faceoffs means more having to defend and trying to be on your heels and defend the counterattack by the Leafs. So that's definitely a part of it. But early on, Danault, Gallagher, and Evans just completely, they just shut down Matthews and Marner, plain and simple. Let's see, Danault, what was the ice time there on Danault? Probably a lot. 23 minutes for Danault, which is a lot for a forward. Who is it? Evans or Gallagher, 19 minutes. I think we're seeing playoff Brendan Gallagher. We're seeing a much better version of Brendan Gallagher in these last couple of games. That's Gallagher, and also Evans, 23 minutes of ice time tonight. Phenomenal game defensively by them. Sheldon, fearless prediction, Jacques Lemaire would be proud of Danault. He would be. Jacques Lemaire would be proud of the fact that the Habs sometimes play with 6 goalies on the ice and don't try to score goals and try to hold on to 1 goal each for dear life. But yeah, Ben Ferreira, John Tavares listed as questionable for Monday. That would be huge for the Leafs. But as a human caring for another human, who also as a kinesiology major, knowing how much concussions are just, you never know, and you have to be careful with them, not just as a kinesiology major, but just as a, I guess, slightly informed human. You have to be very careful. The Leafs would have to be very careful with John Tavares if he were to come back in Game 7. Obviously, it's Game 7 against the Montreal Canadiens, and you're at risk of blowing a 3-1 lead and win, and first series win in the playoffs since 2004 is all on the line. Blah blah blah. But also, do you want to ruin your captain's life because he comes back too early from a concussion and has long-term effects like CTE or whatever? I think the Leafs would be better served. I'm just saying the Leafs have to be very careful with John Tavares, and if John Tavares was on the Canadiens, I'd feel the same way, honestly. Because the Leafs, their issue right now, they have to figure out how to score and carry Price without deflecting it off skates, without deflecting it off butts and off just barely getting 8 guys in front, getting the perfect shot through. That's what's being Carey Price right now. He's just not being beat clean right now, plain and simple. Sarah A. Marner's right for golf season. The way he chucked that puck over the glass and got the delay of game penalty. I'm not going to say anything about Mitch Marner until after Game 7. Honestly, I'm going to withhold my Mitch Marner comments. B. Nakeski, I hate it here. Just finish us off in 7. Good game. Leafs fan, unfortunately. Come on, B. Kineski. It's Game 7. It's a coin toss. Yeah, sure, all the pressure's on the Leafs and barely any pressure's on the Habs right now, because the Habs don't have $40 million invested in 4 of their top forwards. They do in their goaltender and their top defenseman, but we all know that they aren't what they, or at least Shea Weber isn't quite what he used to be. And Carey Price is worth it in the playoffs, but maybe not worth it in the regular season, which is a whole other story because we're in a playoff series here, not the off season. But definitely going into this Game 7, so much more pressure on the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. Sheldon Weisberg confirming it. The Habs would love to take that offer from B. Nakeski, the Leaf fan. Sarah A., you drank the seawater, didn't you? At Sheldon Weisberg. Randy N., exactly. Habs need more deflections on Campbell and more on Sheldon Keefe challenging the Perry goal. So, so look, the Habs they have to, you know what? This was a game where I like what the Habs did to Jack Campbell. I like the way they attacked Jack Campbell. Just Campbell through 2 periods was up to the task, because they were firing pucks at will. They were getting traffic in front. They were getting bodies in front. They were they were even in decent position on rebounds. They got breakaways like Suzuki, Campbell had to make a huge save on Nick Suzuki on that breakaway in the first period. And because that could have very well have given the Habs a much bigger advantage in this game if Suzuki scores there. So this was this to me, those first 40 minutes of this game were the best 40 minutes of Jack Campbell that he played this entire series. But then he gave up the kind of not ideal goal on Toffoli, and he gave up the not ideal goal on Kotkaniemi. So again, especially as the pressure gets higher and higher, keep firing it away at Jack Campbell. Randy, and more on the Sheldon Keefe challenging the Perry goal. Kind of already talked about it at length. Just look, it's at a critical point in the game, critical point in the series, and the Habs who've been struggling on the power play, it's a chance maybe you take. And with you never know with goal interference. You really never know. I feel like it was a much better challenge than Bergevin. So I say Bergevin, but I guess Ducharme and essentially Bergevin's challenge in game 2. But you never know. And yeah, so I guess why not? I honestly, I don't. Yeah, as a Habs fan and the Habs scoring on that follow-up power play, I don't have a problem with Keefe's challenge there, but just you never know. So he threw a dart at the board, and maybe you can argue that Toffoli pushed the Leafs defenseman into Campbell. So anyway, pretty much that's all I'll say with that. Randy, again, all the Leafs will have nightmares that they couldn't score on Price in OT. And I will say that going into game 7, remember, dare I say, this could all backfire and the Leafs could win 6-1 or 7-1 game 7, of course. But remember the Washington Capitals, Alex Ovechkin, Nicholas Backstrom, Mike Green when he was good. Who else was on that team? Alexander Semin, who at the time was pretty darn good, like a really skilled player. We all remember Alexander Semin with the Canadiens, but where we try to forget. But anyway, remember how Yaroslav Halak got into their heads. Then in the next series, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Jordan Staal, Chris Letang. I said Chris Letang, Sergei Gonchar. Remember how Yaroslav Halak got into their heads. He couldn't keep it going against the Philadelphia Flyers, but maybe something like that is happening with the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. Maybe. So if you're going to count on anything from the Montreal Canadiens side going into this game 7, that is definitely something that you can count on. Or that's something that you have in your favor is Carey Price getting into the Leafs' heads. Right? Because the goals that they scored again tonight were off Jeff Petry's skate because Joel Edmondson turned it over in his own zone. And Ben Sherratt turned it over and it went off Jeff Petry's skate again. Last game, scramble in the crease where Weber and Merrill couldn't keep it out playing double goalie. And then, the perfect deflection by Jake Muzzin and the shot by Jake Muzzin threw 8 bodies in front of the net. So yeah, like there's the Leafs. Carey Price is most definitely in the Leafs' heads right now, for sure. Sheldon, it's almost like starting the game with the intensity and crisp passing gets you a win. Who would have thunk? So there is a human side of this, playing in front of your own fans. Like it's that definitely gave a boost to the Montreal Canadiens. But in these, the biggest difference from the Habs in these last 2 games, game 5 and game 6, that you haven't seen since game 1, is that the Habs have dictated the game. They dictated the way they wanted the game to be played. Obviously, the Habs out hit the Leafs by like 1,000,000-1, or more precisely, 43? No, those were the shots. Hits were 44-27. So essentially almost 2-1 hits in favor of the Canadiens. But they dictated the way they wanted this game to be played. They attacked. And when the Leafs attacked, the Habs, until the third period, didn't give the Leafs anything overly dangerous. But where am I at? Got to see Habs fans in Toronto Arena if possible. But I don't know if Ontario is ready to open up the Scotiabank Arena to fans just yet. Randy, and again, Armia played strong tonight, especially on the PK. Armia was also really good. Thank you for bringing that up, Randy. I wanted to mention that. Armia was once again really good in this game as well. And there's been talk of him maybe not being in the lineup, or that he shouldn't be in the lineup early on in the series. But I think it's pretty safe to say that he earned a spot in the lineup on that 4th line with Eric Staal and Corey Perry, and on the PK, of course. Randy, a couple more comments here. KK with the playoff fedora hat in the interview now. Yeah, I'm going to call it here, guys, because just thank you so much for tuning in and celebrating with me here on Langer at the Mike Live. But we can't celebrate too much because there's still a game 7. But, Leaf fans are probably pooping their pants right now, which is, I guess kind of worth a celebration. People in Montreal and Quebec and Ontario, we're not quite there yet, like I am here, but in Montreal, Quebec, things are open, or more open, so they can celebrate hard. So go celebrate if you're in Montreal. And thank you so much for tuning into this Langer at the Mic post-game show. As usual, give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed my commentary and my enthusiasm and my coughing and my lost voice. And as usual, give me a follow on, there it is again, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Mike Langer for all 3. Give a big thumbs up on this video and subscribe right here to Langer at the Mic. And thank you so much for tuning in to this Montreal Canadiens Langer at the Mic post-game show. Habs win in overtime, 3-2 with JESPERI KOTKANIEMI with the game winner. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday night after game 7. Go Habs, go.